Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 76 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. Luo Feng's avatar in the dream domain usually stayed in its outer layer, where the impact on the spiritual world was weakest. At the moment, a weaker avatar scouted ahead while a more powerful avatar followed behind. This powerful avatar possessed 1% of the energy reserves of a world life body's true body. Phew. Luo Feng's two avatars silently hastened through various independent spaces and finally reached the deeper areas of the dream domain. The deep layer of the dream domain. Luo Feng became even more cautious. In previous long years, Luo Feng had already explored the deep layer of the dream domain. Here, even an ordinary life form possessed the strength of Emperor Guishu, and some leaders were even at the Emperor's level, making crises common. Huh? The Wanfa Tower Master is also looking for me. Luo Feng paused, momentarily stopping his advance. The battle for the territories of the Shi Kingdom thoroughly proved Luo Feng's strength. Although Land of Origin was full of strong individuals, the power Luo Feng had publicly displayed was already one of the strongest below the Emperor level. Following the time-space demon, the Wanfa Tower Master also personally visited Luo Feng, offering similar terms. The Wanfa Tower Master is truly, as rumored, quite friendly towards us native cultivators, thought Luo Feng. Among the three alien races, the Two Realms Palace Master was domineering, the time-space demon was unscrupulous, and the Wanfa Tower Master was compassionate and merciful. The Wanfa Tower Master was even willing to instruct many godly kings in their cultivation. The four treasures, they value the first two the most, special life remnants and secret techniques, thought Luo Feng after talking with the Wanfa Tower Master, as his avatar in the dream domain continued to move forward. Special life remnants, there are only two places where they exist. The dark area of the dream domain and the deepest part of the Heavenly Pillar Realm. Since the Heavenly Pillar Realm is completely sealed, finding special life remnants is only possible in the dark area of the dream domain. The Heavenly Pillar Realm was heavily guarded by the two ancient countries, and Luo Feng had no confidence in confronting these two great powers alone. The sealing of the Heavenly Pillar Realm must have been a joint decision by the ancestors of the two ancient countries. Sigh? After a long time, Luo Feng finally arrived at the very end of the deep layers of the dream domain. Up ahead is the dark area. Luo Feng looked at the expanse of darkness ahead, where only his spiritual will could probe. Enter. With a thought. The weaker avatar entered first while the powerful avatar waited a while before following. In the dark area, an invisible, terrifying force enveloped Luo Feng's spiritual will, continuously dragging at his spiritual will. If Luo Feng could not resist, he would completely sink into a dreamy slumber. I need to use about 50 to 60% of my heart force to resist the influence of the dark area, thought Luo Feng. His spiritual consciousness explored the surroundings. The surrounding darkness was incredibly oppressive, even Luo Feng's beyond God King level spiritual consciousness could only probe around tens of thousands of kilometers. Puff! The weaker avatar scouting ahead suddenly flashed with a beam of light, instantly piercing through the avatar. Luo Feng's weaker avatar was obliterated in an instant. However, thanks to the super-strong life force of the 24 Forms life form, it was momentarily restored from nothingness, but just as it was regaining some form, the light flashed again and once more obliterated Luo Feng's weaker avatar. I saw it, said Luo Feng's weaker avatar upon recovering when it clearly saw the appearance of the light. It was a weapon resembling a silver shuttle. It was just too fast. Within Luo Feng's probing range of tens of thousands of kilometers, a flash of light meant an inevitable hit. So that silver shuttle-like weapon attacks twice, and my weaker avatar is gone. Luo Feng was shocked. This weaker avatar of mine, although low in energy, is still a 24 Forms life form. Compared to the powerful avatar in the 10 Directions world form, it isn't much weaker. Even an emperor should be able to withstand 2 or 3 strikes. Carefully, Luo Feng proceeded forward. He didn't deploy another weaker avatar, for within the range of tens of thousands of kilometers, discovering an enemy meant a sure hit. Phew. In the dark area, as Luo Feng continued his exploration, The ground was made of a strange black metal endlessly encrusted with secret patterns. Walking on this black metallic ground, Luo Feng continued to search for the special life remnants. Huh? Luo Feng suddenly shuddered. At the boundary of the tens of thousands of kilometers his spiritual will could observe, a light flashed suddenly, and that light had already pierced through Luo Feng's body. The speed was too fast for Luo Feng to respond in any other way. However, this avatar contained 1% energy reserves, equivalent to 30% of a perfect divine body reserve. The energy was vigorous, and the body was resilient. This beam of light, though it pierced through Luo Feng's body, his body rapidly recovered. One strike, obliterating about 1/10,000th of my energy reserve. Luo Feng thought, as his rope spread out into a massive river, transforming into a vast, surging silver river. The vast silver river enveloped the surroundings. Luo Feng stood at the center of the silver river. Swoosh! The silver light flashed, it attacked from beyond the boundary of Luo Feng's observation range. In a flash, it pierced through the obstructing vast silver river and also through Luo Feng's body, then flew out from the other end of the observation boundary. No way to block, no way to entangle, I can only take the hit. Luo Feng realized the disparity, it's too fast, so fast that at the moment it's launched, time seems to stop. This silver light, in a moment when time stopped, crossed tens of thousands of kilometers. I want to influence the surrounding celestial rules. Even using a bulky body to obstruct is impossible. In an instant, Luo Feng was at a loss. The native life forms of the dream domain were immune to all attacks on the spiritual will, and Luo Feng's spiritual will attack had no effect whatsoever on this silver shuttle. His most powerful move, Great Extinction style, hadn't even started before the opponent's light attacked, crossing from one end of the observation boundary to the other. Luo Feng couldn't even lock onto the target. How to fight? Luo Feng felt befuddled. This silver shuttle, although it seemed to use a simple maneuver, moving back and forth with just one move, it was more terrifying than most emperors. Thank goodness my body has a strong recovery ability, Luo Feng thought. Each time 1/10,000th of his energy reserve was eradicated, the eradicated energy would quickly reintegrate and recover most of it. Swoosh! 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 Suddenly, 6 beams of light flashed and instantly traversed the area Luo Feng was crossing. During this attack, the silver shuttle creatures did not pause, they continuously shuttled back and forth, ferociously slaughtering. 6 silver shuttle creatures? Luo Feng's face changed, and he immediately turned and fled without hesitation. However, in terms of speed, he was far slower than these eerie silver shuttles. Luo Feng had barely sprinted for over a dozen breaths of time. The 6 silver shuttle creatures had madly besieged and slaughtered him over 20,000 times. Phew! Luo Feng narrowly escaped from the dark area and returned to the deeper area. The 6 silver shuttle creatures did not chase him any further. This avatar of mine now has only 1/3 of its energy reserve left, Luo Feng said somewhat fearfully, clearly concerned about his energy reserves. Even if a small universe was fully absorbing energy, it would only manage to absorb the energy reserve of a perfect divine body in about 1 era. The energy lost this time would approximately take 2/10ths of an era to recover. This was also the reason why Luo Feng was reluctant to use his true body. The environment in the dream domain was so harsh. The stronger the avatar, the greater the cost of its death. Monarchs and emperors without avatars dared not venture into dangerously treacherous environments. Dark area, I just entered and encountered 6 silver shuttle creatures? Each silver shuttle possessed emperor-level strength, Luo Feng thought to himself. 6 emperors joining forces in a mad onslaught was terrifying even without understanding formations. Let's try a different entrance. Luo Feng thought for a moment. The powerful avatar immediately started heading back to replenish its energy. Afterward, still maintaining 1% energy reserve, the powerful avatar entered the dark area through another entrance in the deeper area of the dream domain. Merely moments later. My God! This time, Luo Feng's powerful avatar couldn't escape. The life form I encountered in the dark area this time was far too strong. It was much more powerful than the previous silver shuttle creatures. Luo Feng felt a tremble in his heart. It was an enormous creature burning with flames, possessing a black metallic body. The colossal creature was so large that, within the tens of thousands of kilometers that Luo Feng could observe, he could only see part of its head. With 1 pounce, there was no escape for Luo Feng. Its collisions and claws slashing, Luo Feng was merely severely wounded. But when it swallowed Luo Feng whole, inside its body, the strangulating obliteration meant that Luo Feng's avatar, existing inside it for just a few breaths of time, was completely gone. Once swallowed, it was like entering a huge prison, with no escape. One could only wait for death. This already surpassed the normal strength of emperors and monarchs. Luo Feng felt somewhat speechless. Into the dark area twice. One encounter with 6 silver shuttle creatures, each at emperor level. The next with a dark flame creature, yet it was significantly more powerful than the collective force of 6 silver shuttle creatures. How to explore the dark area? It's unexplorable. Luo Feng realized, even if his true body came, encountering the dark flame creature would mean death or losing most of the energy reserve. I am still not strong enough. I only have one ultimate realm technique that barely counts, the Great Extinction style, and I dare not bring a super secret treasure in. Relying purely on the physical body, in terms of power, is not on par with the native life forms, and I'm even more deficient in other aspects. I need to be more comprehensive. I need more ultimate realm techniques, movement techniques, defense techniques, domain techniques. I need to be well-rounded in many aspects to qualify to explore the dark area, Luo Feng thought, suddenly feeling puzzled. These 3 alien clans, knowing that there are special life remnants in the dark area, must mean that some powerful beings retrieved special life remnants from the dark area at some point. At this moment, Luo Feng realized that there were always bigger fish. Even in the land of origin, there were quite a few stronger than him. With my current strength, going into the dark area means certain death. Better to explore the deeper area. The treasures of heaven and earth in the deep area should be much more abundant than in the middle area, Luo Feng thought. The special life remnants in the dark area were outrageously valuable, yet he was currently unable to attain them. So, he decided to lower his targets and first explore the deeper area. After all, the strong cultivators of the land of origin primarily explore the middle area. Some treasures are worth tens of millions of merit points. The treasures in the deeper area are even more valuable. Maybe I can obtain treasures worth over 1 billion merit points. Treasures worth over 1 billion merit points were also coveted by the 3 alien clans and the 2 ancestors, who always purchased them. With such treasures, he should also be able to trade for what he needed. Dark area. One day, I will come and thoroughly explore your secrets. Luo Feng's avatar in the dream domain began to cautiously explore the deeper area. The degree of danger in the deeper area had clearly dropped significantly. Here, the majority of creatures were at the level of Emperor Guishu. Even the more formidable leaders were at the Emperor level and often acted alone, allowing Luo Feng's powerful avatar to escape. Of course, if he encountered too powerful a tribe or too terrifying a leader, there was still the risk of avatar obliteration. In the days that followed, Luo Feng occasionally explored the deep area of the dream domain, mainly focusing on cultivation. Because exploring the dream domain also came with risks. Once dead, he would lose an avatar with 1% energy reserve, which would need to be slowly recovered through cultivation. Naturally, he had to control the number of explorations. Moreover, he needed to ensure that his true body grew more massive and that the energy absorption rate of the small universe exceeded the rate of energy consumed by dream domain exploration. Each time Luo Feng harvested precious treasures in the dream domain, he sent them to be stored with his outer layer avatar. When the team from the reincarnation tower arrived in the dream domain, Luo Feng would also take the opportunity to send a powerful avatar in. When the team left the dream domain, he also took the treasures he had accumulated out with them. Blade River sect had absorbed the territories of Shi Kingdom, and a century had already passed in the blink of an eye. As the power-controlling 155 primal chaos prefectures, the Blade River sect was renowned throughout the land of origin. Today was a significant day for the entire Blade River sect. The grand ceremony of Muyu Qingyang, the eldest disciple of the Blade River sect, and Yushui Tianxin, the princess of Yu Kingdom, officially becoming husband and wife, was being held in Mu Yu Qingyan's fief, Qingyang City. Eldest brother and sister-in-law already have a child. I saw the little guy, he's not arrogant at all. I heard that both the sect master and the monarch of Yu country will be present. The whole Qingyang city was buzzing as countless people discussed the Daoist couple's celebration and the sect master alongside the monarch of Yu country. Nowadays, there were 5 disciples of the Blade River sect who had reached the primal chaos realm. In terms of prestige, only the second disciple, Xin Yu, could match elder brother Mu Yu Qingyang. However, second disciple Xin Yu was entirely focused on cultivation and had no interest in managing the sect's trivial matters. Only Mu Yu Qingyang, knowing the path of cultivation was hopeless for him, worked tirelessly. Morosa also gradually handed over more and more sect affairs to Mu Yu Qingyang. Nowadays, Mu Yu Qingyang could be considered the de facto chief steward of the Blade River sect. Luo Feng's power of the world could envelop the entire territory in a thought, and he had rooted out many moths within the sect, but Mu Yu Qingyang was diligent in his duties, which highly pleased Luo Feng. Second master, this is Mo Yuxiu, my Aunt Tianxin's child. Mo Yuxiu, this is your master Luo Sa, Mu Yu Qingyang said, holding hands with a beautiful and tall woman and a child. Master. The child Mo Yuxiu sweetly called out. Morosa laughed heartily as he picked up the child. This child is really well behaved. Father says that during his many years of cultivation, it is mainly master who taught him. Mo Yuxiu curiously looked at Morosa, knowing how often his father got kicked out by the second master. Ha ha, yes, it was mainly me who taught him. Morosa looked at the child. Mo Yuxiu, how about I teach you to cultivate in the future? Yes, Mo Yuxiu happily replied. Mu Yu Qingyang and Yushui Tianxin looked at each other. Both of them were Chaos Realm through the bloodline path. One was responsible for many affairs of the Blade River sect, and the other for many matters within Yu Kingdom. It was their collaboration that brought them together, and having resonated on many matters, they quickly came together and decided to have a Daoist couple celebration after having a child. At present, Morosa displayed power that transcended even the primal Chaos Realm. Mu Yu Qingyang and his wife, both being of the Chaos Realm through the bloodline path, naturally were more than willing to have Morosa teach their child. Qingyang, have more children, Morosa said with a laugh, I'll teach them all. You are somewhat slow by nature, I hope one of your children turns out to be a genius. Second master is willing to teach, I naturally could not ask for more, Mu Yu Qingyang smiled. Thank you, second master, Yushui Tianxin also expressed her gratitude. This is because on the land of origin, the stronger the powerhouses, the less they wish to devote effort to teaching disciples. They needed to focus more on themselves. Morosa was still willing to teach their child, and they were naturally happy. If it were up to the great master Luo Feng hardly ever took the time to instruct even his direct disciples, let alone spend much attention. Suddenly, Morosa turned his head towards the distance. Mu Yu Qingyang and Yushui Tianxin also looked with some puzzlement towards the distance. Shortly after, 2 figures appeared out of nowhere. It was Luo Feng and the furry-looking Yushui country master. Master. Father. Mu Yu Qingyang and Yushui Tianxin both showed a measure of solemnity. Luo Feng smiled at the couple, both of whom were Chaos Realm through the bloodline path, and quite a match. Master, this is Qingyang's child, Mo Yuxiu, Morosa said from the side. Mo Yuxiu, greets master, Mo Yuxiu respectfully called out. Luo Feng nodded with a smile. I recently got a rare treasure that's perfect for nurturing a child's cultivation foundation, Luo Feng said and flipped his hand, taking out a jade box and opening it himself. Inside the jade box was a pale blue leaf with a natural fragrance that invigorated everyone around. From the side, Yushui country master couldn't help saying, Brother Luo that's too valuable. It was one of the treasures Luo Feng had obtained in the deeper areas of the dream domain, valued at about 8 million merit points and very suitable for establishing a foundation for the young. I recently got it, and it just so happened I met the little fellow, and I happened to be preparing a gift for Qingyang. This is the fate between him and me, Luo Feng said with a smile. Indeed, such a rare treasure was one of the cheaper ones in his possession. Mo Yuxiu, don't hesitate to thank your master, Yushui country master urged. For Yushui country master, Obtaining a treasure worth 8 million merit points was no small feat, especially after his true body was destroyed in Tianhe. Although Yu Shui Country Master's resurrection carrier also had a bloodline, it needed to be nurtured anew. Currently, Yu Shui Country Master, all the treasures and weapon secret treasures added up were worth about 1 billion merit points. He could not afford to spend 8 million merit points on a gift for his grandson. Nurturing any of his children never involved spending so much. The difference in strength by one level made a huge difference in the ability to obtain treasures. Individuals like Emperor Guishu, Wuxin God King, possessed many more treasures than Yu Shui Country Master. Timespace Lonely Boat's Boat Master even had a stronger ability to obtain treasures. Like Luo Feng, his real strength was at an Emperor level. While beyond God King level and having many avatars, his ability to obtain treasures was significantly stronger than that of ordinary emperors and monarchs. In Huyang City, at the city owner's mansion quiet room inside the Star Tower, the majestic Luo Feng, with a perfect divine body, sat cross-legged. Next to him, another more vast world life form lay sleeping, as its true body, possessing over 100 times the perfect divine body's energy, was currently maintaining consciousness, which imposed a certain burden on his mind. Star Tower's secret patterns contain endless mysteries, far deeper than any great Tao. Luo Feng's consciousness penetrated into the Star Tower, observing the infinite secret patterns. Luo Feng's cultivation focused primarily on understanding the Star Tower's secret patterns. Assists like the special grade inheritances, world life form, and chaotic whole beast body, and the heavenly pillars of the heavenly pillar realm, these were all secondary. Ever since I began understanding the Star Tower's secret patterns, I've always wanted to interpret the perceptions of the patterns through the Great Tao. I aim to use the Great Tao of Life and Death's 9 branches as a foundation to perfectly interpret the mysteries of the Star Tower. But unfortunately, Luo Feng shook his head lightly. Merging the 9 branches could only interpret the parts he had understood. Even so, he still couldn't create a 9 branches fusion technique. These scales. Luo Feng's mind observed the blood-red scales gleaming with 12 colors, as well as the infinite secret patterns derived from the blood-red scales. Let alone the 9 branches technique, I haven't even devised the 8 branches fusion technique. The 9 branches of life and death tried to interpret the Star Tower secret patterns. Over the centuries, Luo Feng devised 2 6 branches fusion techniques and 2 7 branches fusion techniques, still only scratching the surface of the Star Tower. The Great Tao is boundless, but my life has been long, giving me ample time to slowly study. Luo Feng was satisfied with such a life, delving deeper into the mysteries and getting closer to the essence of the world. Luo Feng felt fortunate to have the Star Tower. The greatest value of the Star Tower isn't as a weapon of war, but as a book. In the deep region of the dream domain, that most important rarity should be ripe, thought Luo Feng. In the past centuries, Luo Feng explored the deep layers of the dream domain only once per century. Each time he generally explored about 10 deep spaces until an avatar was fully depleted, then he would stop exploring. Each century, he lost no more than 1 avatar, roughly 30% of a perfect divine body. With this, Luo Feng's world life form continued to grow enormous. Over the centuries, I've superficially checked thousands of deep spaces, documenting many extraordinary rarities, thought Luo Feng. The rate of change in the deep spaces was much slower than in the outer and middle layers, and rarities grew even more slowly. Moreover, precious rarities are typically surrounded by stronger indigenous life forms. This rarity, over the centuries, is the only one I've found likely worth over 10 billion merit points. Luo Feng highly valued this rarity. Within his power scope, Luo Feng only found this one rarity valued over 10 billion merit points. Such rarities, estimated to be collected by powerhouses from the 2 ancient countries, ancestors of the East Extreme Domain, the Lord of 10,000 Realms, proved very scarce. In the deep region of the Dream Domain, in the crevice of a cliff, there grew an inconspicuous fruit tree, on which hung a black fruit faintly shining with a purple luster, a sight quite inconspicuous in the Dream Domain. The 1,000 Dreams fruit, worth 15 billion merit points, is finally about to ripen. I have waited for this day for a long time. A figure in a grey robe gazed at the fruit from afar. With this 1,000 Dreams fruit, plus what I've accumulated before, I should be able to gather a complete set of primordial bloodline of the ultimate realm. HMPH, the two ancient countries are really greedy, setting the price at only 15 billion merit points for such a treasure, the figure in the grey robe thought. He was well aware. Rarities worth less than 10 billion merit points are useless to the ancestors of the two ancient countries and the three alien clans. Even 101 billion merit points rarities are pointless to them. But rarities worth more than 10 billion merit points are needed by the ancestors. Hence, these over 10 billion merit points rarities shouldn't be priced by the two ancient countries. Their actual value is much higher. The Thousand Dreams fruit should be ripe now. A figure approached from the void, arriving close to the edge of the cliff. He wore a light golden robe and his invisible fluctuations enveloped a vast area, also noticing the concealed figure in the grey robe. D.I. Jofen? The figure in the grey robe's expression changed. Who are you? D.I. Jofen looked at him. Don't you even dare to reveal your identity? The grey-robed figure chuckled softly. Never mind who I am. This Thousand Dreams fruit, D.I. Jofen, you can't have it. D.I. Jofen looked into the distance. His control over the void was exceptionally wide-reaching, and he instantly locked on the newly arrived powerhouse. Two more have come, D.I. Jofen grinned. A black river swept across the sky, condensing into a burly figure. A shadow spontaneously appeared, condensing into a figure in a purple robe. D.I. Wu, you've come too. D.I. Jofen looked at the burly figure, who was one of the 13 emperors of Flame Wind ancient country, D.I. Wu, who cultivated the great Tao of life origin and often left an avatar in the dream domain. I've also waited a long time for this Thousand Dreams fruit, D.I. Wu smiled, looking around. I just didn't expect two unfamiliar friends to be here. The four powerhouses watched each other. Suddenly, another figure entered this deep space zone, immediately detected by D.I. Wu's spatial domain. All four were somewhat surprised. A figure in a black robe and golden mask also arrived. Luo Feng was also very surprised. He had explored the deep regions of the dream domain for over a century and had never encountered a competitor. The most precious Thousand Dreams fruit was about to mature, yet it had already attracted 5 powerful figures, including himself, waiting for it. That's right, I only explore once every century, and each time only about 10 spaces, Luo Feng thought to himself. There are not many in the land of origin qualified to explore the deep regions. The chances of running into others are indeed very low. He was not at all flustered by being discovered by the invisible spatial domain. To compete for the Thousand Dreams fruit, he had made ample preparations. Now, all his avatars within the dream domain amounted to 12 times the energy reserve of a perfect divine body. And this time, the powerful avatar Luo Feng sent to compete for the Thousand Dreams fruit possessed a full 10 times the energy of a perfect divine body. In terms of physical body alone, it was dozens of times stronger than the avatar that had battled the Dark Sky Venerable. Luo Feng believed his physical body was comparable to that of an ultimate realm life form. Emperor Jiufeng, Emperor Wu, the grey-robed figure, and the purple-robed woman all saw the figure in the black robe with a golden mask. Black robe, golden mask? This aura. Is it the mysterious strongman who killed the Emperor of Qiankuan? All four were at the pinnacle level in the land of origin and were naturally aware of the black robe golden mask strongman intelligence. This mysterious figure had only made a move once. Yet with a soul technique or spiritual will tactic, he instantly annihilated the Emperor of Qiankuan, preventing him from being reborn. Ha ha ha, it's quite rare indeed. Emperor Jiufeng laughed heartily. I thought that if the Thousand Dreams fruit could attract 2 or 3 competitors, that would be impressive. Who would have thought there would be 5 powerful figures gathered here today? Indeed, it's interesting. Emperor Wu observed the grey-robed figure, the purple-robed woman, and Luo Feng, 3 mysterious strong men. It's indeed rare for there to be such powerful independent cultivators. As emperors of Flame Wind ancient country, they naturally held a sense of pride in their bones, not putting independent cultivators in their eyes. Emperor Wu, Emperor Jiufeng, the emperors of Flame Wind ancient country are in the deep region of the dream domain, and dare not carry any precious weapon secret treasures, yet you are still so arrogant, the grey-robed figure said with a soft laugh. Indeed. Including Luo Feng, all 5 who had come to the deep region of the dream domain did not bring any beyond God King grade secret treasures. After all, the deep regions of the dream domain were unpredictably dangerous, and losing an avatar was insignificant. But losing precious treasures would leave no time for regret. This black-robed strongman, was it you who killed Qian Kuan? Emperor Wu looked toward Luo Feng. It was me, Luo Feng nodded. Have we met before? Emperor Wu looked at Luo Feng. Like the grey-robed and purple-robed woman, he had encountered them before and had some speculation about their true identities, but they had indeed never crossed paths with the black-robed golden-masked strongman. Luo Feng looked at Emperor Wu and Emperor Jiufeng with a smile. If the 2 emperors are willing to give up the 1,000 Dreams fruit, we might well sit down and have a good chat. Profound. Ha ha ha. Emperor Jiufeng laughed out loud. This black-robed strongman, skilled in soul techniques or spiritual tactics. Even the Emperor of Qian Kuan, whose will had reached the ultimate realm of God King, was powerless before him. We, facing such tactics ourselves, even if we can withstand it, will suffer greatly in strength. In my opinion, the 4 of us should join forces first to drive away this black-robed strongman. Emperor Wu also looked toward the grey-robed figure and the purple-robed woman. First, we drive away the black-robed strongman, then the 4 of us compete. HMPH, we 3 are independent cultivators, and you 2 are emperors of Flame Wind Ancient Country. Naturally, we 3 must join forces, otherwise, all the good treasures will end up in your hands, the grey-robed figure said without hesitation. We 3 should indeed join forces, the purple-robed woman added. The black-robed Luo Feng with the golden mask nodded as well. Very well. Emperor Jiufeng glanced at the distant 1,000 Dreams fruit. The 1,000 Dreams fruit will ripen soon. Before it does, we shall have our battle. Emperor Jiufeng and Emperor Wu were relatively calm-minded. For them, this rare treasure could indeed help them repay a portion of the massive debts owed by their clan, but even if they didn't obtain the treasure, the impact on them wouldn't be too great. On the contrary, the 3 independent cultivators desired the 1,000 Dreams fruit even more. Let's start, Emperor Wu commanded coldly. Whoosh 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 tilde tilde tilde. His body instantly transformed into a black river. This mighty black river swept across all directions, enveloping a vast area in the blink of an eye. Either Luo Feng and the others would flee far away, giving up the rare treasure, or they would be engulfed by this black river. SSSSSSSS. Luo Feng stood still, allowing the black river to entwine him, like pythons coiling around, even more ferociously eroding his physical body. Emperor Wu also cultivates the great Tao of life origin, but he is an ultimate realm life form. This avatar he sent to the dream domain, I wonder how much of his true body's power it possesses, Luo Feng pondered. The binding force is negligible to me. But this erosive power. The water of the Black River was terrifyingly erosive, but Luo Feng, with a colossal life form and 10 times the energy of a perfect divine body, withstood it completely. The rate of erosion was not even as fast as Luo Feng's vast body could recover. Emperor Wu, is that all you've got? The purple-robed woman also said with a light laugh. The Black River water's erosion, she too, did not bother to dodge, standing firm and undaunted. Emperor Wu, this avatar of yours only holds about 30% of your true body's power, correct? Your power is too weak. The grey-robed figure stood there, his figure flickering in and out of visibility, somewhat translucent. 8 or 9 parts of the erosive force of the black water were deflected, and the little erosive force that remained had no effect on him. Suppress? The rolling Black River waters conjured 3 giant palms, overwhelming and crushing toward the 3 of Luo Feng. The 3 had already stopped caring. Emperor Wu, who followed the pure path of life, without powerful secret treasures, was relatively weak in offensive power. Conversely, Emperor Jiufeng, who followed the path of spatial origin, was a more cautious opponent. The avatar that follows the path of space, Emperor Jiufeng's avatar, might have a complete body, complete soul. Luo Feng was quite wary. Attack! The grey-robed figure sent a message. The grey-robed figure, the purple-robed woman, and Luo Feng attacked almost simultaneously, all aiming for Emperor Jiufeng. Annihilate! Di Jiufeng also made his move instantly, all his might targeting Luo Feng alone. In the eyes of Di Jiufeng and Di Wu, it was the black-robed golden-faced expert whom they truly feared. Naturally, they wanted to eliminate this troublesome opponent first. Whoosh 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 tilde tilde tilde. A wind was blowing. This wind was the wind of space. It blew onto every part of the space where Luo Feng was, permeating the minutest structure of his physical body. With this one blow, even the finest structure of space was shattering. Every fundamental structure of Luo Feng's vast world life form suffered the attack of space shattering, but every life unit of Luo Feng's was a perfect combination of 24 embryonic worlds, and even with minor damage, it rapidly recovered under the endless life force. What? Di Jiufeng was shocked. Loose cultivators, there were some who could match an emperor or a monarch. But in terms of physical body strength alone, those who could compare to an ultimate realm life form were extremely few. Only a few like the Lord of 10,000 Realms, Sector Beasts, Fire Ancestor, and so forth. My annihilation wind can't disperse his physical body? He seems no less than an ultimate realm life form. Di Jiufeng's heart sank. Such a strong body, this is going to be troublesome. Boom! Just as Di Jiufeng's move failed, he felt as if his soul was about to be torn apart. Terrifying attacks, time and time again frantically tearing apart Di Jiufeng's soul. Zhongfu. Di Jiufeng painfully stared at the figure in the grey robe. Is it you? This familiar technique, Di Jiufeng naturally recognized. It was once the strongest subject of the Flame Wind Ancient Country, now the leader of the greatest rebel force in Flame Wind Ancient Country, the master of Mother River, God King Zhongfu. Even more invisible forces permeated Di Jiufeng's body, eroding this ultimate realm life form. His physical body was also starting to fall apart. This invisible force was also eroding Di Wu's vast Black River water. SSSSS tilde tilde tilde, the water of the Black River, amid the erosion, was quickly dwindling. To know that the life force of a physical body in the ultimate realm of the great Tao of life, even if only 1/3 remained, was terrifyingly strong. But now the Black River water was rapidly dwindling, obviously at a clear disadvantage. Not good. Di Jiufeng and Di Wu felt a frightening pressure. Di Wu, this purple-robed woman is at the ultimate realm. She may even be the ancestor of the East Extreme Domain. The ancestor of the East Extreme Domain should have more strength than this. Foolish. The ancestor of the East Extreme Domain is just intentionally concealing some strength, and this rare treasure is equally attractive to her. The two of them knew something was wrong. Without any super-secret treasures, the existence at the ultimate realm with mastery of a complete great Tao, the strength they could display, naturally exceeded the Emperor's. If the ancestor of the East Extreme Domain made a move, bullying the weak, then this would be even worse. Merely 1/3 of an ultimate realm life form, and you dare to come out, the purple-robed woman sneered. Luo Feng stood there, and suddenly, 2 beams of golden light shot from his eyes. These 2 beams of golden light, as if they were slicing open the heavens and earth, landed instantly upon Di Jiufeng's body the moment they appeared. Di Jiufeng's body, already greatly weakened under the attack of God King Zhongfu and the invisible force of the purple-robed woman, was pierced in an instant by the 2 beams of golden light. The golden light was as swift as lightning, unavoidable, piercing through Di Jiufeng's body back and forth, accelerating the collapse of Di Jiufeng's body. This golden light was a 6 branches fusion technique within the great Tao of life and death that Luo Feng had comprehended, one known as the Heavenly Light Silver Shuttle. In the Dream Domain's dark area, Luo Feng once endured the attacks of 6 silver shuttles and, while meditating in the Star Tower, he created a similar technique. He could instantly release 2 Heavenly Light Silver Shuttles to coordinate and slaughter his enemies. Leave. Di Jiufeng, after all, had a complete physical body and soul, facing the siege of 3 powerful adversaries, still had 70% of his energy reserve. By contrast, Di Wu's Black River water had already eroded away by more than half. Whoosh! In an instant, Di Jiufeng took the Black River water and was already gone from this deep-layered space. In terms of space evasion, Di Jiufeng was naturally adept. He wanted to leave, and Luo Feng and the others couldn't stop him. After Di Jiufeng carried Di Wu away to escape, only Luo Feng and the other 2 were left around. The figure in the grey robe is the master of Mother River, God King Zhongfu, Luo Feng knew how troublesome this individual was. Long ago, with just one super-secret treasure, God King Zhongfu could contend with Di Yang, the premier emperor of Flame Wind ancient country, who even pursued Zhongfu relentlessly to seize his treasures. This also made them enemies as fierce as fire and water. God King Zhongfu was too terrifying, having killed a double-digit number of God Kings from the imperial clan of Flame Wind ancient country, and even the primogenitor Yang Feng could no longer bear it, stepping into the fray personally. Primogenitor Yang Feng annihilated all his avatars and resurrection carriers. But in the end, God King Zhongfu was still alive. His cultivation of the great Tao of life and causality granted him an unimaginably strong survival ability. Countless eons had passed, and his accumulation had naturally deepened. The other one seems even more powerful. Luo Feng looked towards the purple-robed woman. God King Zhongfu, and this black-robed powerhouse. The purple-robed woman smiled at her two companions. Now only the three of us remain. It seems we will have to determine who is the strongest. God King Zhongfu looked at the purple-robed woman and Luo Feng, feeling uneasy. My identity has been exposed, yet I can't see through either of them. Whether it was the invisible force released by the purple-robed woman or the two golden lights emitted by Luo Feng, God King Zhongfu found it hard to speculate on their identities. The enemy was hidden while he was in the open, which naturally made God King Zhongfu uneasy. No matter what, no one in the land of origin can kill me. God King Zhongfu had some confidence. At any cost, I must fight for the 1,000 Dreams fruit. With the treasures I have accumulated before, I can exchange for a piece of ultimate realm primordial bloodline. With his status, he naturally had dealings with 3 alien races, and he was well aware that the land of origin, this source world, was gradually entering its final phase. Once the ultimate destruction came, one either had to comprehend a complete great Tao to withstand the huge destruction or cultivate an ultimate realm life form. Throughout the ages, failing to comprehend a complete great Tao, he also needed to prepare a backup plan. With his level of accumulation, by converting to cultivation with the aid of ultimate realm primordial bloodline, he could easily cultivate an ultimate realm life form. The only issue was that a piece of ultimate realm primordial bloodline had to be personally refined by an ancestor, which was a great cost and also very expensive. The 1,000 Dreams fruit is mine, the purple-robed woman declared, looking at God King Zhongfu and Luo Feng. In terms of life forms and realms, I am above them. It would be a joke if I lost to the two of them. She was very confident. And her confidence stemmed from her strength. This is my first time clashing with someone at the same level. Emperors Jiufeng and Di Wu, without the supporting Super God King grade secret treasures, indeed have less deterrence, Luo Feng thought. Emperors and monarchs, most of them had no avatars, and those who came to the deep regions of the dream domain were few. Those with only one true body, when venturing out, carried a full set of Beyond God King level secret treasures, their combat power comparable to that of the Lord of 10,000 Realms, Sector Beast level. If they were within their own cities, their strength was even more terrifying. But without external objects, their deterrence greatly diminished. God King Zhongfu and this mysterious powerhouse, even without secret treasures, are quite formidable. Luo Feng did not dare to underestimate them. The 3 powerhouses each had their own thoughts. Suddenly, silently, an attack came. Rip! Luo Feng felt a stabbing pain in his soul and an invisible force stripping away the life force of his world life form. This concept of life stripping was extremely sophisticated. But Luo Feng's 24 forms were too stable, and his world life form too vast. The conceptual life stripping couldn't shake Luo Feng at all. Well played, Zhongfu, Luo Feng was quite surprised. The great Tao of life origin, if one fully mastered the Tao, would also have no weaknesses, and the attack aspect was equally terrifying. Life stripping targeted not only the physical body but also the soul. The great Tao is interconnected. Many great Taos have some common aspects. For example, the great Tao of life also has a death branch. Although it's much simpler compared to the death origin Tao. Similarly, the great Tao of life origin encompasses the entire concept of life, affecting the soul as well. But it is far less specialized than those focused purely on the soul. Life intertwined with causality makes for such a bizarre attack, Luo Feng thought. Eh? God King Zhongfu was shocked. My life stripping isn't affecting either of them at all? Are they both ultimate realm beings? What was clearly a powerful move, but the black-robed, golden-masked powerhouse and the purple-robed woman, both their physical bodies and souls were too strong. God King Zhongfu couldn't shake them at all. Since God King Zhongfu has made his move, isn't this black-robed powerhouse going to act? The purple-robed woman said with a laugh, watching Luo Feng. If I make a move, you might not stand a chance, said Luo Feng, wearing a black robe and golden mask, his significant foundational strength in both body and soul giving him full confidence. Even if emperors and monarchs had a complete set of superior secret treasures, Luo Feng was unafraid at this moment. Not to mention in the deep region, where no one carried secret treasures, Luo Feng was certainly confident. God King Zhongfu stared at this black-robed powerhouse. Ha ha ha. The purple-robed woman laughed loudly. Just make your move. All right. Luo Feng nodded. In an instant. At that moment, both the purple-robed woman and God King Zhongfu felt the world vanish, seeing only Luo Feng's calm eyes. Those eyes transformed into an incredibly vast star, slowly rolling but carrying an unmatched might. It naturally pressed down towards the spiritual will of the purple-robed woman and God King Zhongfu. Luo Feng's spiritual will, at this moment, was completely unrestrained. Even the application of the Lai Yuan technique was more. Of course, Luo Feng didn't know the true identities of these two, and he still held back. In the past, once he deployed the Lai Yuan technique, he would completely annihilate the enemy, crushing their spiritual will into nothing. But this time, Luo Feng only intended to crush the spiritual will of these two into pieces while letting them survive. If these two adversaries could retain some remnants of their spiritual will, they would not die. It was just a contest for treasures, after all. Luo Feng had no intention to kill, and he even suspected these two might be members of the Reincarnation Tower. Boom! Though it seemed slow, the spiritual attack was instantaneous. This vast will star first rolled over God King Zhongfu. God King Zhongfu's spiritual will indeed was crushed into fragments, these remnants. Luo Feng did not pursue them to the end. The will star then rolled over the spiritual will of the purple-robed woman. Eh? Luo Feng frowned slightly. When will star rolled over the purple-robed woman's spiritual will, he felt tremendous resistance. When it touched her spiritual will, he also found it incredibly resilient. Boom! Despite the collision causing numerous cracks in her spiritual will, she still withstood it. Her spiritual will has not surpassed the beyond God King level. But she held on. Luo Feng instantly determined, her physical body presents a strong obstruction to my spiritual will, she must be an ultimate realm life form. Her spiritual will is clearly that of the God King ultimate realm will, yet her defensive capability is extremely strong. At this moment, Luo Feng was greatly confused. Who was this purple-robed woman? Ah! God King Zhongfu felt as if his spirit was about to collapse, thinking of facing Emperor Qing and primogenitor Yang Feng. Both Emperor Qing and primogenitor Yang Feng had once attacked him spiritually. Emperor Qing and primogenitor Yang Feng had used many deadly moves, even eliminating all his apparent avatars and resurrection carriers. This black-robed powerhouse showed mercy. If he wished, he could have destroyed this avatar of mine, God King Zhongfu thought, his spirit in tatters, further influenced by the deep domain of the dream realm. However, because the spiritual will of the external, life-saving avatar remained intact, it also allowed this avatar to swiftly recover its spiritual will. Such is the nature of spiritual will. To exterminate, all avatar spiritual wills must be completely destroyed. Otherwise, as long as one avatar's spirit remains intact, the others can recover. I accept my defeat, said God King Zhongfu, and using the causality escape technique, he vanished without a trace. Under such terrifying will, he had no way of fighting back. Boom! Luo Feng, however, looked at the purple-robed woman and began to use different attack moves from the Lai Yuan technique. Aside from his most familiar will star, he also created a will blade light, targeting her with all his might, but the purple-robed woman completely withstood them. She withstood his spiritual attack and even resisted the influences of the deep domain of the dream realm. I admire you. Although I didn't bring any super secret treasures, the purple-robed woman looked at Luo Feng. The one who came here is just one of my avatars, likely allowing me to use about 70% of my heart force to resist. You are already quite remarkable. Will beyond God King level on the land of origin is few and far between. You are neither Emperor Qing, Emperor Ming, nor the Lord of 10,000 realms. The purple-robed woman looked at Luo Feng and smiled gently. I didn't expect a new existence of Will beyond God King level to emerge from the land of origin. Luo Feng looked at her. I was a bit arrogant just now. You truly are formidable, clearly possessing the God King ultimate realm will, yet in front of me you still have the strength to resist. This battle is not yet decided, the purple-robed woman said. Even with just 30% of my heart force, I can still use ultimate realm moves. Please, Luo Feng said with a smile as he looked at her. The purple-robed woman looked back at Luo Feng, no longer holding back, having continuously endured the torment of terrifying spiritual will attacks. Her eyes were cold. An invisible attack descended. Luo Feng's physical body immediately began to suffer various levels of attacks, material, energy, and rule operations all aimed to damage Luo Feng's physical body and hurt his soul. Yet Luo Feng's very essence was like a vast world, operating naturally, minor damages naturally healing. His soul was also a robust base, led by a strong spiritual will, with the Lai Yuan technique in operation. It casually mitigated these minor soul-level perturbations. Her physical body is not an ultimate realm life form. It does not feel like the great Tao perfection. But his body is too vast, his energy reserve too powerful. The damage I caused on various levels, he instantly recovered, thought the purple-robed woman, feeling a chill in her heart. When a body's size reaches a certain extent, quantity can compensate for minor qualitative differences. You can also take one of my moves, Luo Feng said with a smile, reaching out and gently pointing. A drop of blood flew out from the tip of Luo Feng's finger. This drop of blood, however, contained about 1/10 of the reserves of this powerful avatar of Luo Feng. The purple-robed woman, upon seeing the drop of blood, sensed a terrifying fear. This drop of blood had some nuances of the blood-colored scales deep within the Star Tower. Luo Feng had always pursued using the 9 branches of the Great Tao of Life and Death, trying his best to decipher the secret patterns mysteries of the blood-colored scales. But so far, the strongest was the fusion of 2 of the 7-branch techniques. At this moment, Luo Feng used a 7-branch fusion technique, blood dripping. This technique, the more energy incorporated, the more terrifying its potency. Now Luo Feng had integrated the energy reserve of a perfect divine body into one move, which was the limit of spiritual control he could achieve. Buzz! The drop of blood, just as it flew out from Luo Feng's fingertip, instantly tainted the skin on the purple-robed woman's finger. The moment it tainted her, this drop of blood instantly corroded, madly seeping into every part of the purple-robed woman's body, every life structure within her. As each life structure was completely eroded, that part of force was transformed, becoming part of the energy within Luo Feng's drop of blood. Absorption, transformation? Even the power-containing my will can be taken. The purple-robed woman was shocked. This surpasses ordinary ultimate realm secret techniques, already having the enlightenment might of the Lord of 10,000 realms. The so-called enlightenment from the Lord of 10,000 realms could also convert other powers into part of his own. My avatar can only maintain 30% of my heart force. It can't withstand the erosion of this drop of blood. I must rely on my true self's power. The purple-robed woman looked at Luo Feng, knowing she had to give up. I admire you. Having said that, she instantly left the dream realm space. As she fled the dream realm space, the drop of blood also automatically separated from her, for it contained the energy reserve of a perfect divine body, which Luo Feng obviously could not let her take away. Combining Lai Yuan technique and the 7 branches secret method, blood dripping, I went all out, and it was only enough to repel one of her avatars. Luo Feng watched her leaving direction remotely. I wonder who she really is. Luo Feng looked toward the only black fruit on the fruit tree in the distant cliff crevice, the 1,000 Dreams fruit that had been contested by 5 powerful individuals. Now, he alone stood there. The more critical the moment, the more cautious I must be. I can't let other powerhouses steal it in the end. Luo Feng's spiritual will instantly spread out, enveloping the vast surrounding area to guard against any enemies who might silently come to snatch the treasure. God King Zhongfu and Di Jiufeng were each incredibly skilled in their escape techniques. Only when his spiritual will covered a vast region did Luo Feng feel relieved. This battle also showed the difference in strength, Luo Feng reflected. Among them four, without any treasures, Di Wu's weaker avatar was the weakest. Di Jiufeng and God King Zhongfu were on par. The purple-robed woman was the strongest. Without the Lai Yuan technique, I might not even be able to defeat the purple-robed woman. Even though his spiritual will was strong, without the Lai Yuan technique, the impact on the purple-robed woman's mind would be greatly reduced, allowing her to unleash even stronger power. This is just one of her avatars. Once she utilizes her true body combined with super-secret treasures, her deterrence will dramatically increase. Luo Feng pondered. This battle has also proved that my heavenly light silver shuttle, a fusion of 6 branches secret technique, is comparable to the moves of the ultimate realm, not inferior to those of the Emperor. My blood dripping, a fusion of 7 branches secret technique, is even generally stronger than their techniques, Luo Feng contemplated, summarizing his experiences from this battle. The great Tao of life and death, as a fusion Tao, was strong in each branch. 6 branches fusion was at the level of ordinary ultimate realm techniques. 7 branches fusion was evidently stronger than ultimate realm techniques. The great Tao of life and death, if I could merge all 9 branches, the power of such techniques would far surpass the techniques of a single complete great Tao, Luo Feng thought. Indeed, the power of the great Tao of life and death far surpassed individual Tao of life, destruction, and space. While Luo Feng was in the infinite space treasure vault studying about perfect inheritances and special grade inheritances, he had already learned about the terrifying nature of the fusion Tao. For instance, the fusion of time and space forming the time-space Tao was unimaginably powerful. Despite the fusion Tao being extremely formidable and inclusive, the difficulty of cultivation was also much higher. Luo Feng sat cross-legged, his spiritual will spreading in all directions, silently on guard. He waited for about 3 days. On that fruit tree, the surface of the black fruit suddenly intensified in purple gloss, its dazzling purple light illuminating the vast surrounding area and emitting a faint fragrance. It's maturing, Luo Feng, sitting cross-legged, immediately stood up and looked at the Thousand Dreams fruit. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh tilde tilde tilde, not far from the cliff, there was noise from the water in the pond, and a black head emerged from the water, followed by a massive creature flying out of it. I've been waiting for you. Luo Feng had already explored the surroundings. Within this vast range, there was only this one native dream realm creature, and from its aura, it was still within his handling capacity. That's why Luo Feng had set his sights on this Thousand Dreams fruit. In the deeper regions of the dream realm, treasures worth over 1 billion merit points were naturally not limited to the Thousand Dreams fruit. However, the creatures around those treasures were far too terrifying. This was the only kind Luo Feng saw a possibility to pick for now. Go? Luo Feng stood there, and suddenly rolling river water spread out, the vastness of a galaxy instantly enveloping the surrounding 100 billion kilometers, naturally binding and wrapping that black native creature. Roar, the native creature resembling a turtle let out a roar, emitting endless cold air which instantly froze a large amount of the silver river water surrounding it. Once free from the river's constraint, the massive creature charged toward the Thousand Dreams fruit, but a drop of blood had contaminated its body surface. 7 branches secret method, blood dripping. This single drop of blood swiftly eroded its entire body. The black native creature turned a blackish-red color and let out angry howls. However, under the erosion, its strength greatly diminished, and it was again bound by the endless river water. This time, it couldn't break free. The roars continued, and the cold air erupted. But the blood contamination and the river domain's restraint had already ensnared it. I hope there are no complications, Luo Feng muttered as he watched the Thousand Dreams fruit, which emitted a fragrance, its dazzling purple light visible from a vast area of this space. Not good, Luo Feng frowned slightly as he saw a dense swarm of red-scale creatures approaching from a distance. Each of these red-scale creatures wasn't very powerful, merely at the ordinary godly king tier, yet their numbers were overwhelming, impossible to count at a glance. It's the red scale species. I knew it wouldn't be easy to harvest the Thousand Dreams fruit. Luo Feng identified the opponents and felt he could still contend. Having spent over a century in the deep area of the Dream Realm, he was very clear about the strength of this red scale species group. Red scale species, seemingly countless, in reality, they all share one life, operating under a collective vague consciousness. Luo Feng, basing his actions on past intelligence, immediately devised a plan. He couldn't defeat the red scale species, but he could delay until the Thousand Dreams fruit was completely ripe. But The massive red scale species swarmed in. Suddenly, a grand surge of galaxy water enveloped them, restraining the red scale species. But the creatures, united in strength, easily broke through the water's restraints, charging straight for the Thousand Dreams fruit. Go? Luo Feng used the massive world life form transformed into endless river water to block the red scale species while also binding and entangling the massive turtle-like creature. Under Luo Feng's subtle guidance, the two forces collided. The red scale species' nature was to sweep through everything in their path. They similarly ravaged the massive turtle-like creature, and in the blink of an eye, the creature was partially eroded, its body massively shrinking. The drop of blood from Luo Feng had already rapidly receded. Roar tilde, the massive turtle-like creature roared unwillingly, trying to escape. But trapped under the surging river water, it couldn't break free. In just over a dozen breaths' time, it was completely eroded by the red scale species, leaving no remains behind. That at least helped delay for a dozen breaths. Luo Feng slightly smiled and then immediately, with a thought, a drop of blood swiftly confronted the red scale species, starting to erode them. Hiss tilde. Several red scale creatures were eroded, turning into part of the blood. But many more red scale creatures obliterated a vast amount of blood. Both sides eroded and obliterated each other. Whoosh tilde. The blood-dripping secret method's erosion had some effect on the red scale species. But their destructive power was terrifying, and Luo Feng's drop of blood, containing the energy reserve of a perfect divine body, was now being rapidly depleted. The blood-dripping secret method is too consuming, Luo Feng noted while keeping an eye on the Thousand Dreams fruit, and closely monitoring the consumption of the blood-dripping secret method. In the time it took to drink a pot of wine, the drop of blood was completely exhausted, and the red scale species had only dwindled by about 1,000th of their size. The entire species swarmed toward the Thousand Dreams fruit again. Seal. Amid the vast silver river, a towering hand suddenly formed. This towering hand, with a gloomy abyss faintly visible in its palm, directly enveloped everything below. Heaven and earth twisted. Everything shifted. Imprison. Suppress. The entire red scale species vanished in an instant. Luo Feng appeared, looking at his left hand, where the palm world in his hand was imprisoning this red scale species. Over the centuries, Luo Feng, after contemplating the Star Tower secret patterns, had deciphered two 7-branches fusion techniques. One was the secret technique, blood dripping, and the other was cage, capable of completely suppressing and imprisoning a space. This red scale species is truly troublesome. My palm world formed into a cage, inherently with multiple spatial seals. Yet this red scale species managed to consume space, and even gnaw at the world membrane of my palm world. Luo Feng immediately replenished his energy continuously to maintain the integrity of the palm cage. Although in terms of killing efficiency, the palm cage is somewhat inferior to blood dripping. When it comes to trapping enemies, its efficiency is several times higher. Luo Feng deduced. With the same energy consumption, the palm cage could trap the red scale species for a longer duration. It's a pity I didn't dare to bring the Star Tower in here. If I had the Star Tower, I could have suppressed the entire red scale species long ago. Luo Feng could only ruefully think about it. He dared not take the risk. Risk-taking might succeed 100 or 1,000 times, but if it failed just once, the Star Tower would be gone. All the treasures of the Dream Realm combined were, in his heart, less significant than the Star Tower. Luo Feng, while watching the Thousand Dreams fruit, maintained the integrity of the palm cage. Every moment, his body consumed a great deal of energy. Suddenly, the radiance of the Thousand Dreams fruit converged, becoming utterly ordinary, and its fragrance completely restrained. It's finally fully matured. Luo Feng rejoiced. A stream of the vast river swiftly swept past the Thousand Dreams fruit, harvesting it immediately. A prepared treasure box instantly secured the fruit. Treasure in hand, time to go. Luo Feng's palm cage instantly released the red scale species. He himself, however, flashed with black light, having already escaped from this dream realm space. The released red scale species roamed angrily around, unable to find their foe and destructively eroding the surroundings. Luo Feng arrived outside in the perimeter area of the dream realm, looking at the entrance area sealed by the two ancient countries' imperial clans. Whoosh! With a flash of black light, Luo Feng instantly crossed through the sealing array of the two ancient countries and out of the exit, and with another flash, he was already back within Huyang City. This was one of Luo Feng's 6 branches fusion techniques, the black light escape technique. Luo Feng's 6 branches fusion techniques, aside from the earlier Great Extinction style, the later deduced Heavenly Light Silver Shuttle and Black Light Escape technique, were similar, all exceptionally swift. The speed was as fast as thought. The thought arrived, the movement followed. Thus, escaping the Heavenly Light Silver Shuttle was inevitable. Unavoidable. The Black Light Escape technique, in a single thought, moved from the outer layer of the dream realm to outside the exit, forcibly penetrating the entire formation. If it were in the land of origin, a single thought could move from one end of the land of origin to the other. This was the might of the Ultimate Realm escape skill. Each move of the Ultimate Realm had its exceptional qualities. Like the Wuxing God King's Hidden Heaven escape skill, even the formations of the two ancient countries in the dream realm couldn't detect it. Some powerful individual has forcibly crossed the formation. The two ancient countries' imperial clans were all stirred, but given the limited strength of the garrison at the entrance of the dream realm, when even the reincarnation tower teams dared to make a strong assault, Luo Feng forcibly breaking out was something their formation simply couldn't stop. Outside the exit of the dream realm, a purple-robed woman stood in the distance, patiently waiting. Whoosh! The black-robed man with a golden mask appeared instantaneously at the exit and then disappeared again in an instant. He's come out. The purple-robed woman watched the scene. His escape skill has also reached the ultimate realm level, but his technique carries a trace of the path of destruction. Who is he? The purple-robed woman was quite curious. Whoosh! Silently, she disappeared without a trace. Tianmu Kingdom. Beyond the two ancient countries on the whole land of origin, the entities that could be considered first-rate powers included Tianmu Kingdom, Wanjie Kingdom, and East Extreme Domain. Of these, Tianmu Kingdom was the most low-profile. Whoosh! The purple-robed woman arrived deep inside a palace where a handsome young man was observing a mysterious painting hanging in the air, with countless secret patterns flowing on it. Whoosh! The purple-robed woman directly transformed into a streak of light, flying into the body of the handsome young man. It's a pity that this attempt failed. I couldn't help Big Brother seize a share of the Thousand Dreams fruit. The handsome young man looked at the mysterious painting and shook his head slightly, as a sector beast, relying on one's own cultivation is true.